Today's video is going to be solving exponential functions again, but instead of trying to get the same base like we did in the last video, today we're not going to be able to get the same base, so we're going to have to use logs. So this was the reason for learning what a log was, to be able to rewrite them, and to be able to use the properties. In our first example, we have 5 to the x power equals 76. We don't know 5 to what power is 76. It's not a whole number, right? 5 to the second is 25. 5 to the third is 125. So we know it's something in between there. And we can't write 76 with the same base as 5. So we're going to have to use log. So what we do is we try to do any adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing that we can first to get our base 5 to the x power by itself, which it already is. And now we take the log of both sides. So I have log of 5 to the x power equals log of 76. You can actually take the natural log of both sides. It doesn't matter which one you use. I just tend to use log for numbers and natural log when we get to e. All right, now the reason we take log of both sides, kind of like squaring both sides, taking the square root of both sides, doing the inverse of something on both sides, is so that we can use the property that we learned, and that is to, if we have an exponent in our log, it moves to the front. So we take this x and it goes in the front. So we now have x times the log of 5 equals log of 76. And to get x by itself, we divide by log of 5 because they're being multiplied currently. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So log of 5 is what I'm dividing by on both sides. And then it will cancel here. So x is now by itself equals, and notice I haven't used my calculator yet until this step right here. I'm going to use my calculator and put it all in at one time. I don't want to round or put anything in my calculator until the end because otherwise my answers are going to be off more and more and more. So you want them to be as accurate as possible. If you've been using your iPhone regular calculator or your phone's regular calculator, you might want to make sure you get that app, iPhone, it's Calculate 84, and Android, it's the WABBITEMU. I'll try to make sure I put it in an email again. That way you're putting in it as accurately as possible. So I'm putting in log of 76, and this calculator puts in the parenthesis already. You might have to end the parenthesis on your calculator, but make sure there is a parenthesis after 76, divided by log of 5. So make sure it looks like that before you hit enter. So here's my answer. I can round to the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. This one, let's do 2 decimal places, so 2.69. So x equals 2.69, and we knew that it was going to be something between 2 and 3 because 5 squared was 25 and 5 to the third was 125. And you can plug it back in to make sure you get approximately 76. It won't be exact because we rounded, but it will be very close. All right, let's try example 2. So we need to, again, make sure we get the base to the exponent by itself first. So we have to do any adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing we can. So I need to get rid of this minus 5. So I'm going to add 5. So we have 4 to the x equals 8. And if you take a look, we can't write 8 as 4 to a power, but we could actually change this so they both have base 2. But I want to let you know that we can actually use the logs, even if we could change the bases so that they're the same, right? Because 4 is 2 squared and 8 is 2 to the third. We can still use this log method. So let's give it a try. So log in front of both sides. So log to the 4x power, or log of 4 to the x power equals log of 8. Again, the reason we do that is to take the exponent and move it to the front. So x times log of 4 equals log of 8. And to get x by itself, we're going to divide by log of 4. So in our calculator, we're putting in log of 8 divided by log of 4. And log of 8 divided by log of 4 is 1.5. All right, and again, you can plug it in to make sure that it works, and it should give you a true statement. So x equals 1.5. All right, in the next one, example 3, we're trying to get the base with the exponent, so the 2 to the x by itself, which means we need to get rid of the 3, and they're next to each other being multiplied, but we can't actually multiply it because of the exponent, so we have to get rid of it by dividing by 3. So 2 to the x power equals 9, and we can't write those as the same base, so we are going to put log in front of each side. And the reason we do that, we're moving the x to the front, it's the exponent. And we divide by log of 2. So we're finding log of 9 divided by log of 2. And that was, let's say, 3.17. Very good. Okay, so now we are going to do this last one. Again, our goal is to get the base with the exponent by itself first. So my base is 0.2 to the negative 5x power. So I'm looking for something with an exponent, and that's what you're getting by itself. So we have to get rid of the 6, and we have to get rid of the plus 13. So we're going to subtract 13 first. So I have 6 times 0.2 to the negative 5x power equals, that gives me 2. Get rid of the 6 by dividing. Again, you cannot multiply the 6 and the 0.2 because the 0.2 has an exponent. All right, so I have 0.2 to the negative 5x power equals, and I know if I do 2 divided by 6 that I'm going to get 0.3 repeating, so I don't want to round that yet. So I'm going to either leave it as 2/6 or I'm going to reduce it to 1/3. Try not to round yet because that's going to mess up your answer. It's going to be off. All right, so now I'm going to take the log of both sides because I can't write the two bases as the same. So I've got log of 0.2 to the negative 5x power and log of 1/3. Make sure you're taking the log of both sides. If you just put it in front of one side, you're going to mess it up. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to both. Take your exponent and move it in front. And notice my exponent this time is more than one term, so I like to put it in parentheses. And now I'm going to get x by itself. So one thing I'm going to need to do is to get x by itself is to get rid of the log. So I'm going to divide by it. But I also notice that the x still has a negative and 5 in front of it, so I'm also going to have to divide by negative 5. So I might do that in the next step, but be careful because if you round this answer, then your answer is going to be off. So I might just say answer for now and show I'm going to divide by negative 5. So I kind of ran out of space. Put my answer over here. So I'm going to need to do log of 1/3, and I'm going to need to divide that by log of 0.2, and whatever my answer is, I'm going to need to divide that by negative 5. So I'm going to use my calculator and try not to retype anything in and just type it in this way. Okay, so I'm going to do log of, we said it was 1/3, and then I'm going to divide it by log of 0.2. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter, and I've got my answer, but I'm not going to type that answer. I need to now divide the answer by negative 5. So just hit divided by negative 5, and that's why when you use your calculator on the regular calculator on your phone, you might have some issues here. So now when I hit enter, my answer is negative 0.2. .137, let's say, if we round to the thousandths place or 3 decimals. So I don't have much space here, but negative .137 we said was our answer.